Hello everyone, welcome to Wild Woodland Lavender Farm. My name is Carrie. Today I'm working on a project that needs to get done because my apple trees are blooming and my cherry trees and pear trees are going to be blooming soon if they aren't already. And one problem that we have in our area is coddling moths in the apples. Living in Washington and here in Northeast Oregon too, we have a lot of apple orchards. And so trying to keep those coddling moths down in number is very important around here. So I don't like to spray trees though, especially with just random pesticides and stuff like that. Trying to go as organic as possible without getting certification. So I'm trying to find more natural ways to take care of things like this. One of the ways that I'm going to be doing it is with the plants that I plant around my my apple trees and other trees in the guilds in my food forest. And so, for example, in an apple tree guild, I'm getting this from our oneacrefarm.com. They have an article on there about how to grow apples without pesticides. And so they give an example of a fruit guild for apple trees. Wild roses, which host predatory insects, anise hyssop, which attracts beneficial insects, chives, which attract beneficial insects and helps protect young trees from borers and prevent apple scab, mullein, which traps stink bugs which can damage young fruit, fennel, which attracts parasitic insects to control caterpillars, strawberries to host apple protecting insects, and white clover, which fixes nitrogen, attracts pollinating and predatory insects. And then another website I found, didn't write down which one it was, but they say nasturtiums repel coddling moths and more when planted around the base of your fruit trees, so I definitely need to get some of those planted. Hyssop, sage, which deters coddling moths with its high camphor content. Tansy, which also boasts a high camphor content, but you don't want to eat that because it's toxic to people and animals too, I think, especially cows. You don't want to eat tansy. And then chives again, which help apple scab, but not moths and maggots. So I'll be adding a lot of those plants to the fruit guilds when I plant out the rest of my food forest. Watch for videos on that. I'm actually going to start planting some of my fruit guilds. If you've been watching my videos, you know last year was our first year on the farm here. First things first, I got trees planted. That was the most important thing to me. After that, I'm going to start, of course, filling in the fruit guilds as we go along, as we can afford. We don't have a lot of money, so it's really just buying plants when we can afford it, or finding them for free, or trading for them from the community. So, and in fact, I just got a bunch of plants from my parents that I'll be planting out there. The topic at hand is this solution which you put near your trees or hanging in your trees that will help trap moths and other insects as well. And this I found on riseaboveyourlimits.blogspot.com, and it's from an article in 2011. I'll put a link down in the description below, so if you want to look it up, you can do so. But I did this last year on the big apple tree, the ancient apple tree down in the back 40, and I hung a couple jugs on that tree, and it seemed to do a pretty good job attracting bugs to it. I don't know, I can't judge how many coddling moths it kept out. I still had wormy apples, but it is a pretty big tree, and they say that for the average tree to have 2 to 4 jugs, I probably should have had more like 6 to 8 jugs on that tree because it's pretty big. So anyway, let's get to making these. I'm going to make one for you, and then I have several jugs that I need to fill, and then we'll take them out and put them by the trees. So what you need for this worm-free apple solution is a gallon jug cleaned out, and you'll want to have the lid for it, although it's not entirely necessary, I don't think, but you probably want it anyway. I have one jug without a lid, so we're doing one without a lid. Then what you want to do is cut an egg-sized hole on the side opposite the handle. So handle, hole, right in the shoulder. You don't want to cut it too far down because the liquid you're going to be hanging it in the tree like this, if the trees are big enough to support hanging these. And so you don't want the liquid to be coming up and spilling out. It's going to be right down here. So you make it, you know, a little far up on the shoulder, egg-sized hole. Okay, then what you need is dark molasses. This is blackstrap unsulfured molasses. You'll also want apple cider vinegar, and then a little bit of ammonia. Mine is lemon scent ammonia. I don't think it has to be lemon scent. Mine just is. That's all my store had. Okay, so you'll need 1 cup of cider vinegar. And I took my container inside. I'll be right back. Alright, you'll want a container to mix this in, preferably one that you can pour out of easily. And then you'll want a funnel in order to pour it in without spilling all of it all over the place. Okay, so what you will need is 1 cup of apple cider vinegar. And I've already used these measuring cups to make a jug previously, so that's why it's dirty already. So 1 cup apple cider vinegar, 1/3 a cup dark molasses, then you'll need half teaspoon of ammonia. Then you'll want to stir this together. Get that molasses dissolved into the, I was going to say water, it's not water in there, it's vinegar. Then you're going to want to add enough water so that you have 1.5 quarts liquid total. So we want 6 cups. My little container here actually has some measuring lines on it, so I can just add the water directly to this. Otherwise you'll add 1 quart and then probably about 2/3 more liquid beyond that. Oh, and I'm actually going to pour some of the water into here and get the rest of this molasses out. I don't like to be wasteful. Normally I'd have my spatula out here and I'd be scraping this as clean as possible. Okay, then we need just a little bit more. There we go, 6 cups total. Just give it one last stir to make sure the molasses on the bottom is dissolved in. Now we're going to pour this into the jug. And there you have it. I'm going to make up some more jugs of these and then we'll go put them out by the trees. This is one of my favorite apple trees ever. My grandparents had one of these when I was a kid, and I loved eating them in the early summer. They're an early apple, ready in July, and they're nice and tart and sweet. It's the Lodi apple, and I love them for making applesauce and for making dried apples with, as well as for eating fresh. As you can see, it's not very big. It's not really going to hold this jug container very easily. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set it on the ground underneath it and hope that that does the trick. Now, most of our rain comes from over here down to here, and so I'm going to put the opening facing that way so it doesn't get as much rain in it. Okay, I'm going to go place the other jugs around mostly the apple trees. I only have 8 jugs at this point. I hope to be able to collect more so I can make more of these up, but I need to get these out while they're blooming or about done blooming. So I'm gonna put them mostly around the apple trees since they are good for cherry and pear as well. We'll see how many I have left, but I'm gonna concentrate on the apple trees for now. That's the end of my jugs. And I got all of my small apple trees that I planted last year. That means I don't have enough jugs for my huge apple trees that are in the corner back here. I'll have to find some more jugs for those because those are the big culprit for the bug attractors. At least they were last year. And so I'll just need to get some more, and I also want to get some for the cherries and the pear trees that I have. So that's all for this video. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to subscribe so you can follow along as I build up our food forest on our almost 5 acres here in Northeast Oregon. We'll see you next time. Bye.